Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World Healing Energy Session for July 8th, 2025. So today we're doing something uplifting and possibly a little bit dark at the same time. We're going to work through some of the filters that hinder or obscure that gratitude for just being alive. And now, as I say that, I'm sure many people go, yeah, I'm alive, but I'm struggling and I'm suffering. And what I and myself in the group covered was that, every single story, you'd be surprised if you listen to people's stories from the, apparently most successful person to the least successful person. You will see that everyone has a pretty impressive story of pain, sorrow, love, beautiful events, extraordinary events. You're going to see all of that. And here we're in our little way supporting the mind from, supporting the mind to dissipate some of the filters that obscure that gratitude just for being alive, or just being able to look at that plant back there, go for a walk, even if it's a limited walk, or somebody who can really, walk, speed walk or jog, um, or just being able to sit in your garden or look out a window. If you're blind or even deaf, being able to sit and touch something if you can't feel anymore, as we age. So we've dealt with a lot of aging people, and they feel less, but they still know you're there and they still appreciate that you're there. I spent a lot of time in hospital the last 3 weeks with my dad, and then people keep coming through, and some of them lose connection with reality and have terrible days. Then they come back and they smile, and then they lose touch with reality and they're swearing their brains out all night long. And then all of a sudden they come back and they have a sweet smile and they greet you. And those moments, that gratitude really rises to the surface. So you can just feel into this. I'm going to start with the gut brain. And in the gut brain, it's to clear any debris. This can be from toxins, pollutants, any malfunction that's going on in the gut brain that doesn't allow us to discern or separate the pure from impure, the poisons from the good stuff, so that we can have a better understanding of being grateful. And something happened in the group as well. When we started talking about gratitude, I noticed we started focusing on being grateful for one specific thing. And that's not really the greatest benefit that you can get from the healing power of gratitude. You would really want to focus on being grateful for everything. So, even a difficult situation, still being grateful. Let's say the simplest thing: I'm still here. I'm still here. I still can maybe enjoy a friend, husband, wife, whoever's in your life, maybe be able to enjoy a flower or the fresh air, or just anything that you have that you enjoy, the gratitude for that. And sometimes even the gratitude that we could just experience, feeling, maybe seeing, maybe breathing, whatever it is that we can be grateful for. Not grateful for something to excuse something else. Here we're using the power of gratitude, of maybe even just being grateful. I'm focusing a little bit on being grateful for something, but you don't want to focus constantly on that. It's just being in totality grateful for everything and nothing. And that's really going to do the healing. So as I focus on that, you can focus on it too. And we're going to bring it through the superconscious to the sub of the superconscious to the sub of the subconscious mind into the conscious mind and back. So we're bringing it from the superconscious to the conscious mind, then get through the conscious mind, because the conscious mind has a lot of ideas. So whatever I've said, each and every human being who's listening to this is going to interpret it in a different way. Those are your beliefs that are going through all of this. So we don't want to have those beliefs occluding or filtering what gratitude really is. You can get the optimum sense of gratitude healing, whether it's the physical body, whether it's the mind, whether it's regret, guilt, whether it's shame. We need that gratitude to help heal those things. So today is only gratitude. There are other things we could do with this, but right now it's going to only be gratitude. So take a nice deep breath and let's just tap that in. And I'm going to look at now the heart brain. When we get to the heart, the whole heart area, the heart center. And here we're going to look at compassion and gratitude together to expand the two, compassion and gratitude together. So now that I'm in the heart here, wow, I've just gone into a massive sweat. I can just feel the energy already clearing my system. So the heart energy is expanding outward and just bringing to the surface, to the integumentary system, massive amounts of water. So we're going to hydrate. That'll be one communication. And another one will be to expand compassion. So in the tarot, not in Chinese medicine, in Chinese medicine, the heart is fire, which would explain the heat. And then the other part would be tarot, where the heart is going to be water, which is love. So those two together, I feel as though those two elements are boiling up in my heart center, and the sweat is just coming out like crazy right now. And we're going to go to the third area, which is the head brain. And as I was doing the heart, I could feel pressure in the head and lots of shooting pains going on in the head. I have no idea what that means. But it's definitely drawing me there as though I built up an energy. So I think, or let me go with, it's already calming down. These are the filters that are in the brain, right? So we access, the memories in the brain that filter our experience and then dramatize our experiences. They become so dramatic to us. We overdo it. Now, there's a difference between dramatizing what is and then melodramatic events that are trying to evoke from someone pity, sympathy. There's a big difference between full engagement and involvement. There's a difference between the drama of your life and then the melodrama that then brings in other complex emotions like pity, self-pity, whininess, clinginess, neediness, that kind of thing. We really want to work through that. Your story, wherever you are, is a huge drama. Of course it is. But trying to evoke and pull pity from someone else is too stressful for you as an individual and for the person you're trying to communicate with. Because if you, for 1 minute, take these ears and open up your ears to your friend, to people around you, you will hear their pain and their story. So we often forget that the other person has a story as well. And that story is just as fantastical as yours is. Okay, so that's one thing that needs to be looked at and reflected with yourself, from yourself to the other and the other to you, so that you have a better interaction. So it seems like I'm tuning into some people that are involved in maybe loneliness, and that loneliness can evoke a sense of isolation, and that isolation can say, well, look at me, I'm isolated, you have other people. We're always doing this, right? There's always comparison. We're always going, okay, my situation is worse than yours because blah, 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 blah. And I think I've said this many times. I used to work as a tarot reader in a shop, and people would come up to me and say, you don't understand. You don't have children. And then another person would come in and, you don't understand. You have children. It was just hilarious to see, oh, people just surmise. They're looking so much to have their story validated. Not that it's going to do anything, because they probably have a lot of people who validate it. Uh, and it still doesn't do anything. It doesn't heal a thing. What we want to do is heal that neediness within us to have that story understood, when everyone does understand, because they have their own story. Again, I can't say every single person. Maybe there's someone on earth who has no story and their story is just wonderful. I truly doubt it, but it's not my experience. Everyone's got an incredible story to tell, incredible dramas, terrible bits, and wonderful bits. So let's get that going in the brain. As I said, all of that, I could just feel little lines of pain running through, as though it's breaking down. And don't forget, for each and every one of you, it's going to be different. Doesn't necessarily mean it's what I spoke about, but it's definitely going to go through those belief systems that hamper the capacity to have gratitude. And we brought in compassion. I thought this was going to be solely gratitude, but because compassion came up in the heart, there will be that sense of compassion. And it's more often, well, you decide for yourself. Do you tend to blame yourself or blame others? Just check with yourself. Some people have a, it changes throughout your life. It can, but do you tend to blame yourself or do you tend to blame others? If you blame yourself, there may be compassion required for the self. If you blame others, you would need compassion for others. But I would say it's still for yourself so that you can have compassion for others. All right, there you go. Have a great week and enjoy that. I do pray for everyone that this is going to really support clearing those filters that could block relationships, that can block movement of energy in your body, that reduce the functioning of your three brains and give you just that little bit of a better experience. Thank you all. Have a great week. Bye.